very good morning to one and all, and welcome to the second day of this STC program. Today, our focus will be totally on the curriculum development and implementation, and also on outcome based education. And afternoon session will be totally on the how to come up with the optimal learning environment for holistic development of students, which is the main aspect in NEP 2020. Because the entire NEP document not only talks about that what to teach or how to teach, how to for the accreditation or this one, but it also talks very emphatically about the learning environment, that the students should be comfortable, students what support should be given uh, by the administration, by the institutes to the students, so that they enjoy learning and they feel coming to the institutes and the class for the learning. Anyway, so today I'll be talking on the outcome based education and the curriculum based on outcome based education, the NEP 2020 system, or we talk about when we are going for the NBA accreditation, or we talk about NAC accreditation or NIRF ranking, even when we talk about the education processes or framework matching with the global requirement, the OBE is the background for each and everything. The if I just discuss that, why again the same thing, that still we are struggling to come up with a new education system or some education policy. See, as I said, that lot of changes have been in India when we talk about the education system, and not to forget that what was our glorified education system we had during Nalanda, Takshila, and all. Then also that was some 200-300 years back. Then also we are again struggling or fighting to have some education system which may be in tune with the requirements, right? So, and I'm not saying that till date whatever has been taught in the colleges or in the classes or the schools, but there are certain deficiencies in the traditional education system. We are part of this education system, and so many high level examples we have, those who are heading the global or international institutes or multinational companies, or we have so many examples, but still we have certain deficiencies in our traditional education system. If I just to target only very limited ones which may be of interest when we discuss about the OBE. So the first one is that we always talk about the student, or we always are focused on the uh, teacher centric learning environment, what we want to teach. See, the curriculum is given to you in the very beginning of, as soon as a subject is allotted to you, the curriculum of that subject is given provided to you. Okay, so what is to be taught is decided by the teacher. How it is to be taught is decided by the teacher. How it has to be evaluated is decided by the teacher. So everything is teacher centric rather than, and no focus is given that what student is learning or what student wants to learn, why he has come to the class, or what he is gaining after completion of the uh, course or after the completion of the program. So the learning environment which is presently we are having in the or conventional education system, I would call, not the traditional, that is totally based on what teacher wants to do in the class and what teacher wants to make the students learn or understand. Similarly, the assessment part, if I talk about, it is totally marks driven, and that is why we used to call our education system as the output based model. Okay, can anyone give me an idea about the difference between output based education and outcome based education.
Hello, I'm audible ma'am now.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, by outcome you mean that if we are basically our students take place or getting some entrepreneurship offers, that means we are providing some outcome based education to that.
No, 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 not no, no, ma'am. Not at all, ma'am. Yes, anybody? Output based on the results. Someone is. Let me see the chat box. Ms. Nidhi Goyal says output is mainly focused on the result and outcome is based on the learning objectives. Exactly. Outcome or Nirbhay Rana says outcome based approaches are more comprehensive than output. That may or may not be very true for every case. Yeah, so basically, if I say that what is the main difference between the outcome or the output is, when we talk about the output based education, basically it is, see, in the conventional system, what we have these students as, or we are all engineers, okay, or we understand that any system, we have the input, we have a process, and we get the output, right? So in the output based input, in the both cases, whether it is output or outcome, input is your students which have come after class 10th or class 12th. Input is your faculty members who is well uh, uh, educated, or right. Input is your staff, your input is your resources, your lab, your administration. And then there is a process, that is the model which we are following, and then we get the output out of that model. So when we talk about the output, output only talks about the count, that is okay, 100 students got admission. Out of those, 70 students they got pass. Out of 70, say 40 got first division, then or CGPA of more than 9. 20 got CGPA more than 9, 20 got CGPA more than 7, 10 got CGPA more than 6, so such on. It means the output is, we are talking about only on the numbers, that how many students got pass, how many students graduated, how many, like this, right? So the process which we are employing, that delivers only at the end of the process is an output. But when we talk about the outcome, outcome is actually the qualification and of the output. Okay, if what the student, when he completes his degree, or the student when he completes one subject, what is the level of proficiency or knowledge or performance he is exhibiting. It's not only his marks. One marks, getting marks is okay, 1 point, that okay, he has got 8 CGPA. But even if he's getting 8 CGPA, has he gained something? Has there been some enhancement in his cognitive capabilities, or he's just getting a page or a certificate with a degree with 8 CGPA? So that is why when we talk about the conventional education system, the focus was on output. The teachers' performance was also based on this. Okay, these many students you taught, these how many passed, how many failed, how many have reappeared, how many have more than 70, like this. Okay, but now when we talk about the outcome based education, we'll see what is the difference, right? And the third part is that the assessment or the how to evaluate the students' capabilities. See, in any education system, apart from rest of the things, the three most important thing is that what to be taught, curriculum, how to be taught, and how to be assessed. Okay, so basically the assessment part is also very very important, because like, see, if I give you the example of COVID forced us to teach in an online fashion, and teachers within 10, 15 days, a month, we cope up by making our PPTs, or by scanning our notes. Somehow or other, we were able to deliver the knowledge to the students, and we were taking the class, right? But the evaluation system or the assessment, we did not change. We were asking the similar type of question. Our way of assessment was same, mid semester, final semester. Mid semester questions are there, mid the quiz is there, which is common to all. Assignment common to all, quiz common to all. So all what all students were doing, they were all cheating, or they were using the unfair means and getting similar level of evaluation. You were not able to differentiate among the assessment of the students. Am I right or not? You might have faced the same thing, because the assessment or the evaluation we could not modify or as per the online requirement. So there was the challenge, which right now also there is a challenge, right? So output based education is more towards the teacher centric, more towards the numbers games, more towards the CGPA or the result oriented, and evaluation is not foolproof. Okay? The third most important thing is that is their soft skills, the lack of emphasis on soft skills. The entire curriculum, if you see, so now the third problem with the education system is that no emphasis, or very less emphasis, on the soft skills. No doubt, we have one communication skill subject throughout our degree program, and now some emphasis has been given on some of the subjects like maybe environment, or now we have started with the NAP, we have started with the human values and ethics or Indian knowledge system. Otherwise, earlier, if you see the present curriculum or the conventional curriculum, there will be no subject related to the soft skills. There may be again a hidden curriculum type of thing, that okay, you give the seminar so that the student is able to or the student has some improvement in his presentation skills. You make them sit for the group discussion, you make them give the role models learning. So from there they learn the interpersonal skills, teamwork. You give them some problem project oriented for analytical skills. But if you notice, when we studied, or right now also in some colleges I've seen, the curriculum is totally focused on, as I was yesterday mentioning, totally discipline specific program, core courses, elective courses, and just one or two these communication skills or humanities, and that is it. So, because of this, there was a gap. There is a gap between the education, formal education, and the career oriented skill, which in terms we call it as the academia industry gap. Because what we are teaching in the classrooms, it is helpful to the students when they are going to the for the job, but that is not sufficient to update their knowledge or skill which is required in the industry. So that is why there is always a gap, and always steps are to be taken to bridge that gap. Okay, the skill set, the proficiencies, the psychomotive, domain effectiveness is not there in our conventional education system. Okay, and then, as I said, assessment and competencies are not there. And the third and the most important thing is, because it is output based education, the outcomes, that is what are the objectives, even objective of teaching a subject, objective of teaching a chapter unit in that subject, that is not clear to the students. So now the problem is the learner centric, teacher centric education system. Teacher is the whole soul to give the instruction. He is the authority. He is assessing based on his criteria, that he wants to assess the student on the basis of quiz or on the basis of a seminar. So there is no say of the student, or there is no reasoning why, how or why the assessment should be taken in that stride. Okay, and the system is a competitive. How many of have got 70%? How many have got 80%? How many have pays supplies? So every time the system is competitive. It's like, but now the global requirement and the outcome based education talks about student centric system. What students want is achieving, what type of understanding, what type of skill, what type of knowledge the student is getting after completing a course. And then we are going, when we are talking about the outcome based education, we are more focused on developing the understanding part, enhancing the cognitive capabilities of the student rather than ratta type of learning. And so when we have to move in that direction, our assessment has also to be changed. We have to come out of those type of questions like why, what, detail, how, explain, compare. We are only talking about only first 2 3 levels of the Bloom's taxonomy. I hope you had a session yesterday on Bloom's and you understand that. So it is time to move at the higher level of the Bloom's taxonomy, especially in the technical education. You have to come up with such type of questions or evaluations in which you can, the students innovative capability or creativity increases. It's not only that students only the capacity of memorizing is there, that okay, tough I memorize and vomit out in the exam. No, whatever student is understanding, gaining, what he is achieving. And then the assessment or evaluation is also collaborative. How, what the students have achieved, what outcomes were expected out of the class, and they have got it. So it is a collaborative supported system. So this is the issue where the focus of the outcome based education has to move towards to. That is the outcome at every level, right? So that is what proficiency, what skill, what capability the students are getting, showing, exhibiting at every level of their college, at the every level of their uh, learning. So outcome based, as I said, focus on lessons learned from what students have learned. It is totally focused on the planning of the education system around the priorities. And the priority is always student centric and the outcomes from the students. And outcomes, when we are saying again and again, it is focus, as I said, that what capabilities or performance the student is gaining. Okay. And another thing is, it's not okay. One thing is clear, that outcomes, but another beauty of the outcome based education is that it is not only that focus on okay, this is the outcome, but it also focuses on the mapping of these outcomes. So it focuses on the measuring part also, that what we have achieved. It's not only okay, the outcomes, what outcomes we are getting, that is there, how those outcomes have been achieved and how much those outcomes have been achieved. And then if it is not achieved, then what steps are taken, what possible what possible steps are to be taken so that those outcomes can be attained. So this is the model of OBE. If you understand this, then the entire model of outcome, and then the curriculum design based on outcome, and the curriculum design based on outcome and NEP 2020 will be clear from this model. Okay, so this model of OBE is a PDCA cycle, that is plan, do, check, and act. So the first step is the planning part. Before we start, like you people must also be doing that, when you get a subject to teach, you have the prepare a course plan. Yes or no? Can anybody give me an idea what you put in your course plan?
Ma'am, we are preparing the course plan structure as per required for the syllabus.
What do you
Like
put in that?
weekly plans and syllabus, mention the syllabus objective outcomes, evaluation system, all in the course plan.
Very right, sir. Okay, right, fine, good, sir. Yes, Mr. Nirvay.
So we put a course description, then COs, POs, course outline, where we mention the essential reading material and textbooks, and then after that, assessment, end term, continuous assessment, midterm assessment, and how
Right.
we gonna judge those assessments.
Good, sir. So okay. So I think most of you are doing it. So I'll quickly brush up. Then I'll come back to this model. So when we are saying the outcomes, we all know there are four outcomes which we are talking about. The first one, which is directly affecting the students and the teachers, and on which we faculty have to work upon, that is the course outcomes. That is the outcomes which are at the end of the course, right? At the completion of one subject, those are the course outcomes. Then you have program outcomes, that is the outcomes which we expect from the students at the end of the degree or the diploma, that is completion of the program. Okay, and then there, because these program outcomes are fixed from AICT or from the NBA team, they are 12 in number. For engineering they are fixed, and now lately the UGC has also come up with the fixed program outcomes for the humanities or the art subject also, that is for BA, BCom. Because earlier the accreditation was only important for the engineering or technical programs, but now with NEP, accreditation will be part and parcel of each and every degree program, whether it is BA, it is BSc, it is BBA, BCom. Any program which will be run by any university has to be accredited, and that is why um, this uh, the UGC has come up with the program outcomes of the graduate programs also. You can just visit the UGC's website and you can check. Okay, so the uh, program outcomes, and then, but there are it was seen that some of the programs were not, we were not able to just the program outcomes were not able to justify, that is some programs, that is there are some programs, like if I speak about the architecture or we speak about the pharmacy, right? There are some programs where the program outcomes were not able to justify. So for them, there is a provision of program specific outcomes. So program specific outcomes are in addition to the program outcomes. I can talk in detail in the coming slides. And the last one is program educational objectives. See, program earlier our education system was like that when a student comes, say for a 4-year degree program, he completes his degree and he takes the certificate and transcripts and he leaves and becomes alumni. And the college considers him as an alumni and is not much bothered that what he is doing after completing his degree. But now the OBE says, and NEP 2020 emphasizes on that we have to check whatever the student has learned with us in 3 years or 4 years, how he's using or how that knowledge is used, helping him in his future life for next 4 to 5 years. That is, if suppose he has got a job, we say he's placed and we are happy and we add a number to the placement. But no, the PO specify that if he has got a job, how he is performing in the job. Is he a good team worker? Is he a good? Is he has a good communication skills? If he has got the job, his knowledge, his competency, is he moving or rising in his career? If he has gone into the higher studies, how he is performing there? So whatever we have taught him, knowledge wise, skill wise, soft skill wise, how it is helping him to move further in his career and his professional life or his personal life. So those uh, objectives which are quite broader, they are called the program educational objectives, right? So these outcomes are to be decided beforehand, that is the planning part, and they have to be in consonance with the vision and the mission statement of the department or the institute. So it is a top down approach. Every institute has a vision. To complete that goal or vision, there are number of steps which we call the mission. Based on the vision and mission of the institute, every department will have a vision, and to achieve that vision, every department will have mission. And to in line with this vision and mission, we will have the program educational objectives. We already have program outcomes fixed, and then we will have the course outcomes at the end of every course. So all these things should be the part of your course file. At least the CO, POs, and POs may not be there in the course file. So when you are saying the syllabus is there, yes, objective of that syllabus, why you want to teach, right? That is the objective, why this subject is important, how it is going to help the students. And outcomes are what students will be achieving. what outcomes the students will be expecting, or you will be expecting from the students. Okay, so course outcomes, program outcomes, then what is the relationship between them, assessment, right? How you are going to assess them, mid semester quiz, whatsoever. Even the rubrics part, on what criterias, like every question paper you have the, okay, number for this question, and you give the breakup also 2 plus 3, that if suppose there is a question and it has two parts, or a question where you are assessing the student on the criteria of that, if he writes the definition and explains this, gives the formula, it has 2 marks. If he does the evaluation or analytical part, it has 3 marks. So that is decided. But what about the seminars? What about the assignments? What about the presentations? So, or the intern, or you can say um, the industrial visit or industrial training which the students are going. For them, rubrics should be there. The student should know that if I'm going for a field training, what type of competencies are expected out of me from this training? What should my focus to learn or understand? Okay, so the level of rubrics should also be there, so that uniformity is there, transparency is there, and clarity is there to the student as well as to the teacher, that on what criteria I have to judge him, or what criteria I have to assess him, right? So all these things have to be planned, and that should be the part of your course 5. See, when NBA comes, those who are from the institutes whose degree has been already accredited, so you might be knowing and you might be aware that when the visit comes, the peer team visits, they can call anybody's file, they can see, they can call anyone and discuss about or ask you that what are the course outcomes, how you have achieved, how everything is to be done. So the proper course file should be maintained in the very beginning. At the end, it will have question papers, the assessment, the assignments, everything. But the before starting the session, you have to plan, and this part has to be the part of your course plan. Second step comes is the doing thing. That is what is to be done, and that is the teaching learning process, where NEP focuses a lot major focus is on teaching learning process. So the first important thing is the course syllabus, the curriculum part, the course contents, what is to be taught. See, whenever we talk about the uh, curriculum, when we talk about any education process, we talk about major 4 5 things, and that is that what we want the students to be able to do, that is the outcome. How can we help students to achieve it, that is your curriculum. How will we know whether the students have achieved it, that is your assessment. And above this, how will you move in the further improvement? So any education system primarily focuses upon these key questions, right? So for that is why we talk about the what should be taught, how it should be taught, and how it should be evaluated. So coming times, the curriculum has to be modified, keeping in view with the education system. The various pedagogies have to be modified and implied, again keeping in view, and different evaluation or assessment depending upon what you are teaching and how you are teaching. Okay, so this is the doable part. We can have further, we'll talk about this. Then it is check assessment. So whatever we have at the course level, whatever we have planned, we have achieved it or not. How many students they have, what outcomes they are getting, what program outcomes we have achieved, what mission, are we moving in the direction of the vision, or some of the mission statements have been utilized. So this is your checking or the assessment part. Now this we are doing, we'll say that in the traditional system also we had some course plan, and we had that discussion, this unit, these many hours, these many questions from this unit, everything we had, we were teaching also, we were checking also. But now the improvement, continuous improvement comes through this model of OBE, and that is by checking that whatever we have planned and whatever we have achieved, is there any discrepancy? If there is, and obviously there will be, then what actions are to be taken, what steps are to be taken to bridge this gap between the planned action and the attainment level. And whenever you will take certain actions, I hope that you must be doing some, like if your some students have low CGPA or some course outcomes are not attained, you might have the policy of extra classes or makeup classes, makeup examinations, or some extra efforts to be put on this. So every institute might be having certain, uh, some policy where you must be acting if your CGPA of the student is less or the number of supplies are more, and so and so. So means what is that? Actually, that is the some action which you are taking to lessen the gap between what was planned and what has been achieved. And OB model, this is of utmost importance, and this is the only parameter which makes it move in the direction of the continuous quality improvement, which I talked about. Any education system, we move for the further improvement. So whatever steps you take, not only the extra classes or remedial classes or the quiz or assignment, you can check whether the student, even the teacher has some problem, he is not delivering, or the pedagogical technique. Suppose you are teaching C language, and C language the teacher is taking in the theory class, lab is not making them perform well, and in the paper you are asking them to write, execute a program. So it means the pedagogical techniques which the teacher has employed for that subject is not up to the mark. So action which we are always taking at the end, which is 90%, I have seen 95%, that we go for remedial classes for the students, extra classes, some makeup examinations, makeup assignments. We always consider that the student has not understood. But I would really appreciate if you focus on this, that it might happen that the teacher is not delivering up to the level of the students, or I would say the course outcome is not properly framed, and you're not able to achieve. And last but not the least, the curriculum which is being taught is not right. You are in the first year students, you are having first year students which have come after class 12, and you are directly teaching them the applications of the nuclear physics or nanomaterials or artificial intelligence. I've seen in first year only they keep artificial intelligence. When the student does not have the basic knowledge of digital electronics or any computer language, and you start teaching them artificial intelligence, obviously the students will not be able to perform. So when we talk about OB model, we have to take care of all these things. What is being taught? There may be problem with the curriculum. There may be problem with the teaching style of the teacher, right? The teacher is leadership properties. Okay, theory, leadership, type of leadership. Okay, no case studies, no innovative thinking, no making them students go for group discussions also. So it may be a faulty style of teaching also, right? Then the course outcome planning or the assessment planning also. You are teaching them ABC, and for evaluation you are asking them to write an essay. At least what you are teaching in the class and what you're asking, that should be in relation. It's not to show your importance you ask big question in the paper, and in the classroom you teach only the. So OB model, when I said that this is actually the model. And whether you are going for NBA, whether you are going for NAC or NEP, this is the foundation of the education system. And why we go for OB model? Because it will result in a more coherent curriculum. What outcomes you expect at the end? What outcomes you expect after the completion of the program? What outcomes you expect from the course outcomes? So everything, when it is in line, in tune, obviously the curriculum which will be designed will be coherent and directed, right? And then the graduates, when we try to bridge the gap at every level, so it means the output, that is the students or the graduates, they will be more relevant to the industry and to the stakeholders. And then yes, as I said, continuous quality improvement at every level. Because earlier, okay, output is there, 60% students, 70%, but no steps were taken that how to raise that scale. So in OBE, we do take steps to check, okay, if this course outcome is not achieved, what is to be done in next section so that this outcome is achieved. If this is not achieved, what is to be done? What steps are to be taken? So every iota of steps will help in the quality improvement of the system. And then very important is, if no OBE, very difficult to get the accreditation. As I said, this is the main framework or main foundation of the any of the curriculum design or any of the, and it is a win-win situation for everyone. The students know, and the students can share their expectations, that what we expect from the class. So students will, when at every level, the outcomes will be measured and it will be shown to the students. So the students can also very effectively track their progress, that where do I lack? I lack in theory, I lack in practical, or my skills are not good. So it gives a very clear direction, not only to the students, but also teachers also, कि how the class is going. Am I not teaching properly, or the students are not able to get the information right, or my assessment or evaluation is not okay. So it is a win-win situation for every stakeholder, whether it is student, whether it is faculty, whether it is the administration, okay, whether it's an institute. And if properly implemented, obviously it will lead to the quality of the institute, department, and faculty and the students. So basically this is the OBE model. Basically it is again same PDCA cycle, and the philosophy is say what you do, that is the outcomes, what you are going to do. You have opened a college, you have started a new program of say BTech in artificial intelligence. So what you want to do? So you say that, you describe the course outcomes, the program outcomes, the POs, that you want to start a program in BSc nursing. Why? What is the assessment? As I said, when we design the curriculum, what is the need assessment? Some need analysis you have done. Okay. So say what you do what you say. So whatever you have course, whatever you have outcomes planned, how you do it, by what curriculum you are having, what pedagogies, everything. Then prove it by the assessment. And there is a gap, so improve it. Right? So this cycle becomes a continuous cycle, which will obviously lead into the continuous quality improvement. Okay, any questions up till now? Mr. Shaunak says, how can we document innovative teaching? Sir, you have to come up with some strategies or some styles which will lead to the innovative teaching. Like if you give experiential learning, project based learning, give them a project or give them a problem, as I was discussing yesterday, society based problem. Even your system based, why are we going for getting a software from the vendors? Ask your students to draw some apps, some softwares for the benefit of the class or college or institute. So that will be some innovation will be brought in your style of teaching and their way of thinking also. Any further questions? How can we evaluate OBE? Okay, students are prepared selectively to get marks. No, what is the question? Come again. क्या था? What do you mean by that, Dr. Hashmukh Chauhan? Can you unmute and ask this question?
Yes, madam.
Yeah, yes.
I have observed that since last many years we have implemented OBE over here, but we see the exams and etc. They are very selective in preparation.
Because
Just to
they
get
are.
the marks.
Yeah, I know this is a problem, because actually we also know and they also know that what we are teaching in the class, how much it is going to help for their job. Yes, even the civil engineer, mechanical engineer, electronics engineer, everybody is getting a job in the IT sector, and we are not teaching them that. And the job they are getting on the basis of the programming skills. So what they are doing is they are putting more focus on developing that skill of the computer programming. And so for them, in from this degree what they have come for, it is only okay, I can get 7 CGPA, it's okay for me. So they are doing the selective studies. So there is a, again, this is the problem with that academia and industry part only. because what industry is asking for, what employability students are asked for, we are missing in that in our curriculum. And that is why that curriculum what we are teaching, they only consider as just a means to get a degree. This is the issue, sir. So that is why we are saying that we have to come up with such some different variation in the curriculum, so that students get interested also, students get to learn also, and which will help him to understand, okay, this is going to get me a job also. I hope, yeah, I hope to some extent I'm just giving in. I know I'm not giving the exact remedy for this, but yes, this is a challenge we all are facing. But OB will only help us to improve some situation by modifying the curriculum of that. Yeah, so Shaunak Dasgupta, I'm teaching communication. Example regarding what, sir? Innovative teaching. Communication electronics or communication skills in English in EC. Yeah, so communication you can give so many innovative styles. Even you just give them a case study or some that okay, uh, everybody knows about mobile or satellite communication we are talking about. Give them something, some see say Li-Fi communication. So that will not be the part of the curriculum. That may be not be the, and it must be of interest to the student. So give them a project which may not be directly part of the curriculum but related to this. So when you will give them some project on Li-Fi, then they will, and then it will make them understand. It will force them to understand the concepts or to learn and then come up, or give them some example like for some app can be developed, so that you can think of. I can also tell you some example of this one. Okay, the Shagufta Parveen, can we change the course outcome of any course? Yeah, see, now this is a problem with the affiliated colleges. In the, like the colleges which are autonomous, they have their flexibility and they have that autonomy to write their own course outcomes and to modify those course outcomes. But in the affiliated colleges, I know that there is an issue because the course outcomes are also being forced uh, on them. So you directly cannot change the course outcome, but if in consecutive say 2-3 semesters or 2-3 sessions that course outcome is not being attained, then you may represent to the your affiliating universities, but the college cannot change the course outcomes directly. If they get the permission in the BOS from there, then you can change. Now I'll come to the OBE implementation part. So when we design the curriculum now, okay, when we talk about the implementation, okay, first. So basically, as I said, it is top-down approach when we are doing the planning part. We know the mission vision. Based on this, we design the POs. Based on POs, we talk about the program outcomes. And based on program outcomes, we talk about the course outcomes. And then on the basis of course outcomes, we talk about the syllabus. Right now, we are doing the reverse engineering. Syllabus is with you, and we are asking you to make the course outcomes. Actually, it is not so when we are talking about the design of the curriculum. The curriculum will be designed after these course outcomes have been defined. I will give you one example, then we can move further. So, suppose the vision statement of my department of say electronics is to become a center of excellence of IoT. That after 5 years, my department should become a center of excellence in this northern region for the IoT. So vision is clear. To achieve that vision, mission should be there. Okay, if I want center of excellence of IoT, I should have some master program in IoT, some specialization programs in BTech in IoT. Make sense? Okay. So mission is also clear. Two missions are related to say IoT. Then some POs should also be related to IoT. That if a student gets into the industry of IoT, how he's improving or what qualities he's exhibiting. If a student start his entrepreneurship in IoT devices or start his factory, how our studies is going to help him. So your PO is also based on your mission statement. So once your PO is also there, then program outcomes is also fixed. They should also be in tune with the POs. The main POs are fixed, but inside what you want, that okay, knowledge of physics and maths. So or apply the knowledge of physics and maths. So apply the knowledge of physics and maths for IoT base. Okay. Then to achieve those program outcomes, course outcomes should be there. Say 40 to 50 course outcomes should be there. So if I want center of excellence at IoT, it means I should teach in final year, my focus should be subjects related to IoT devices. Subject relate, because I want to make it center of excellence, I should teach IoT, I should teach cyber physical system, some microcontroller should be taught, some programming skill should be there. Okay. So if microcontroller and programming is there, so IoT you have to teach. So sensors and transducers should be there. If sensors and transducers, so signal and system should be there. So the entire top to down, depending upon these course outcomes, we can classify and go for that vertical horizontal curriculum design. Am I clear? This is the ideal way to do, and this is the way we are doing in our institute for the different colleges. Then once these are clear, okay, so I want that student should have very good knowledge about working on microcontroller. He should be able to program. He should be able to go for PIC microcontroller. So it means now one subject of microcontroller from which these outcomes are expected. To satisfy these outcomes, the subject unit should be defined. Are you getting my point? But right now, in every institute, we are doing the opposite. We are having the syllabus and we are writing the course outcomes. No. The syllabus should come from the course outcome. If I want my student should have a capability of designing a combinational and sequential circuits, a student should be able to design an amplifier. So it means I should have one subject and contents of that subject should be relevant to achieve that course outcome, that is a multiplexer or a sequential circuits or whatsoever. Are you getting my point? So basically it should be the course outcomes have to be defined, and then we come to this top to bottom approach: syllabus, teaching methods, learning activities, and assessment tools. Fine. So this is the planning, this is the doing part, and then this is the checking. This is bottom up. So once the syllabus is defined, the methods have been employed to teach, assessment is done, the formative or summative evaluation is done, then we check whether the course assessment was done or not. Course outcomes which were pre-planned, they have been attained or not. Based on those, program outcomes have been achieved or not, and based on those, institute vision or department vision has been achieved or not. So this is the cycle which goes. Okay. So hierarchy goes from top to bottom while planning part, and while achievement or the assessment part, it is bottom up from the course outcome to the vision. And these are called the short term outcomes, and these are called the long term outcomes. And because at every level, at every outcome, the analysis is done, the feedback is taken, the assessment is done, and steps are taken to improve efficacy of the system. So it is a closed loop, and closed loop always leads to the quality improvement in. So this is how. And one more thing, the OBE always speaks about involvement of all the stakeholders. All the stakeholders, not only the students or teachers, but even the parents, even the industries, employers, those who employ them, alumni, non-teaching staff, all stakeholders, interest of all the stakeholders have to be taken care of when we talk about anything, even designing the COPOs, designing the curriculum, designing the rubrics, designing the assessment, everything the stakeholders have to be involved. So now if I talk about the COs, POs, all will be taken care by the next speaker. Talk about the curriculum design based on the outcome education, base education. So it involves the same story. What outcomes are to be done? So again, PDCA cycle. Every need, the need analysis. If you remember yesterday lecture, the first and the foremost thing is need assessment or need analysis. So in that, this every stakeholder need analysis is to be taken care of. Why will the parents want to send their children to your institute for this BTech program? Why the employers give you, or alumni, how the alumni are going to affect or going to give inputs regarding your syllabus. So every stakeholder's needs and requirements and inputs should be. Then what should be the graduate competencies, that is the program outcomes, that is what we expect out of it. As yesterday also we were talking that computer science with psychology, or the only computer science, or major in electronics and minor in computer science, which the NAP is now suggesting about major and minor courses. So what are the competencies out from a graduate student is expected? That is your POs, learning outcomes, your course outcomes, and then the curriculum part. So this is to be planned. This is the planning part. When we design the curriculum, all these things are to be taken care of. Then what is the curriculum, how it has to be implemented, that will be taken care by the learning teaching process, learning teaching strategies, and the assessment and the evaluation. And then comes the checking, the results, exams, whatever you have, how you have assessed, by quizzes, by open book, by case studies, whatsoever, what analysis you draw from that result. That is what course outcomes have been attained or not, program outcomes, all these things. And then the evaluation part, what we have achieved from the results, how we try to evaluate. And then when you check the evaluation, then go for the standardization and go for the improvement. So the curriculum, because say when we say curriculum, we do not mean syllabus, as I said. It contains output-based curriculum, output-based learning teaching, output-based assessment. So this entire cycle is based on the curriculum design based on OBE model. So when we develop, all these things are to be taken. How will we reflect demands from external agencies? Okay, that is your stakeholders. What outcomes and content should we include? That is your program outcomes, course outcomes, and depending on that, the syllabus. So when we write learning outcomes, yesterday I think we have already done that. The course outcomes have to be smart, they have to be specific, they have to be measurable, they have to be achievable also, attainable also. You cannot expect that a student of first class whom you are teaching just basics of semiconductor physics, and you are asking him to design a push-pull amplifier, right? So achievable and attainable outcomes should be there and be accessible also. Okay, and then okay, I won't use this Bloom's taxonomy, you have already done. Yeah. Then comes what teaching and learning methods. Planned curriculum, taught curriculum, and learned curriculum. There should be an integrated part of integrated curriculum of such type. What you are planning, how you are teaching that, and what the students have learned. This is very important, and we talk about only the curriculum part कि ये था, ये पढ़ा दिया, कैसे पढ़ाया है और बच्चे ने क्या समझा है. This is very important, right? So we have to move from teacher centric to student centric, from information gathering to problem based, from discipline to integrated. That is why in NLP we are moving towards multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary, right? Community based, and electives and course and systematic. So these are various strategies in which now more of them being are. So teaching and learning, if I say standalone teaching, you are giving only the knowledge. Whereas in integrated teaching, the curriculum has to be designed where knowledge is also given, skill is also given, attitude is developed, and the change in behavior. This is most important. In earlier conventional way of teaching, knowledge or skill also we were giving, But whether it has changed his behavior or not, it is not, because learning means actually change in behavior. It's not only gathering the information or gathering the knowledge. And then last is, how will we assess the learners? Assessment part, if I talk about, it is a pyramidal approach based again on the Bloom's taxonomy. What the student knows, right? It means that is understand, remember, the first two level of this. How you can check it from MCQs, right? I don't know what these full forms are. And then some papers of this one. Third level of Bloom's application, knows how to use that what he has learned here, that is apply part. So critical papers can be there. Okay, shows how, that is evaluate, and what is the other one, analyze. Okay, so how, and then does, that is create. So different assessment techniques can be employed, but these four things are to be assessed: what he knows, how he can apply what he knows, and how he can show that he knows, and how he does that, how he creates that, how whatever he has learned. So your assessment strategies, your assessment techniques should be based on these criterias, right? And the last one is, how should we establish links to evaluation? So this is a Kirkpatrick's hierarchy. Level 1 says there is always a reaction. What is remembering and understanding? When the knowledge gathering, there is always a reaction of the student. That is, the mental level increases. Okay, he's able to memorize, he's able to understand some concept, right? Then the next level of understanding is knowledge change. Because when he is applying the knowledge, what he has learned, it means some knowledge, extra knowledge he has gained, and whatever he had before, it will be an addendum to that knowledge. Third level of understanding is the behavior change. So the knowledge which he has attained, knowledge which he has gained, which has changed his way of thinking, way of writing, way of being, that will lead to its behavioral change. Here comes the learning. And then last is the performance change. So this type of your whatever assessment at what level, Bloom's level, along with this Kirkpatrick's hierarchy, you can come up with that how the assessment you can link with the evaluation. So this is how we go for the curriculum development on the basis of OBE. And the last one, which is very, very important, which usually is not the part of the institutes, that is evaluating the curriculum. And now we call it as Karmikology, or curricular of curriculum. These are general terms, not, it's just the lighter side, that it's not only the designing of the curriculum or implementation of the curriculum which is important, evaluation of the curriculum is also most important. That is, whatever we have designed, how it is helping the students, how it is helping the all the stakeholders, how it is going to help the society as a whole, right? So, and then what further changes? We may not come up with a curriculum which is foolproof and catering to each and everyone requirements. So what steps should be taken? How the curriculum should be modified? How frequently it should be modified? How what process should be included for to the modification of the curriculum? So this is to be considered and should be taken care by the. So with this, I would like to thank you all, and I'm open to the questions. I'm not talking about this POs and all. This will be taken care by the other speakers also. Yeah, any questions related to this?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, PEOs for different institute must be different,
Yes, sir.
and but for affiliated colleges, as you said that CEOs would be same as of the university.
Yeah, usually see, that depends again on the affiliated university. Some universities, they are giving their CEOs fixed with the course contents, right? And some universities I've seen, they have left it for the college only, that you can frame your CEOs. But most of them, they are doing that, they get the CEOs and POs from the affiliating university only.
So, ma'am, if COs are fixed, then achieving different PEOs will be not possible.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
my,
But sir,
my
but actually, yeah, I agree. I agree to your concern. But actually, the POs are very broad statements.
yes,
Course outcomes are very specific outcomes pertaining to that subject. So even if you are teaching, suppose you are from one college which is affiliated to Kurukshetra University, and there is another college which is affiliated to Kurukshetra again. So COs are fixed, and say subject is simple, say DSP, digital signal processing. Okay, so because COs are specific to the contents, so more or less they will be similar,
yes.
and POs are very broad objectives. So they can cater to the small variations which may be there in the COs of POs of different colleges.
So my opinion was, ma'am, that there must be some flexibility in CEOs putting
Yes,
CEOs, and
exactly.
because external paper is evaluated by university, but internal examination is taken by the institute, so they can have little bit flexibility.
I totally agree with you,
And
sir. The autonomy and the flexibility of CO modification, CO writing should be with the teacher who is
teacher, yes,
teaching the class. And NAP has catered to this part.
yes,
Right now, it is a very, stringent type of system with this affiliation, especially. So NAP is thinking about the removing the affiliation totally. So then,
moreover, ma'am, I see that universities, usually affiliating universities, they don't have good CEOs as defined by you already, that they must fulfill some criteria.
I agree,
Before they
sir. I
start with the
agree.
action verb, they
Yes,
are not.
because the problem with that is non-involvement of the stakeholders.
Yes,
Only one, the university who will, the even dean or head who will be responsible for writing the COs, he will give some job to some teacher, जाओ लिख के ले आओ, और
and
वो
he
टीचर भी नेट से कॉपी करेगा या यूनिट वाइज लिखेगा, अच्छा, और जाके दे देगा कि ये लो. So proper.
moreover, they fix for per unit only one
No,
CEO, which
this is very wrong notion, and we have not to write that. The COs are not one-to-one mapping with the units, not at all. COs are mapped with knowledge, skill, and attitude, and with the Bloom's taxonomy. You can map COs with Bloom's level, but do not map the COs with the unit wise, which I've seen everywhere, most of the places it has been done. Okay, unit 1, introduction to machines. So they will write CO1, student will be able to comprehend the basic knowledge of machines. No. अगर machine पूरा subject है, so the right course outcome that the student should be able to apply the knowledge of machines for practical applications. That may be DC machine, that may be AC machine, that may be. So please do not do this mistake writing of COs one to one with respect to unit. No, not at all.
so, ma'am, just another information I wanted. There are different softwares available in the market for ERP systems. So, instead of that, is there any open source software available uh,
Yes.
for
You can
the,
that you can use your chat GPT and write outcomes. But
for writing? Not just means assembling and other processes that complete, because people are maintaining it in Excel sheets and doing this, and this is a very cumbersome task.
yeah, I know there are various ERPs which have come up in the market and paid softwares. Those who are doing everything for the faculty related to OBE. I have visited so many institutes where they have that software. The teachers, what they only do is give the marks
Yes,
to that software, and the software will design the course outcome. It will check the attainment, and now on the basis of that, big universities have got NBA also, NAC A plus plus also. But if you call a teacher from that university and ask him what is this, they do not have any clue.
yes,
And that is why I myself am visiting so many colleges in my region which already have A plus or already are NBA accredited, but now they are realizing that software is doing at the back end, but actually the CO, at least CO part, CO
yes.
formulation,
Part must be.
statement, that should be done by the teacher.
Sure.
at least they should have the idea. Let the system do it to, make it error free, or to dilute some burden, lessen the burden over the teachers. But the teachers should have the idea. They should be clear about what software is doing for them.
Yes, ma'am. CO and PO mapping, CO statement and mapping, these parts
Yes.
must be done by teacher.
By teachers, exactly. And that's what they are realizing, and they are doing it now.
Yes.
Let the software do it part, no issues, but basic understanding. It's like कि आप MATLAB की प्रोग्रामिंग कर रहे हो A+B और आपको ये पता नहीं है कि वो A+B में क्या कर रहा है,
Yes, ma'am.
right? So it is important that way. But open source, I've seen people writing COs with the chat GPT that give the syllabus and then write the course outcome.
Even, ma'am, I have seen that also. Chat GPT gives directly based on syllabus. It will
Yes.
not decide the level.
No.
It gives higher level outcomes, just like design level in theory class subject. It will give, and people accept that also. That write that also. Even
Chat GPT, see, these tools should be used as an tools.
Yes.
They should not be used as the replacement of the human intelligence. However, they may be more intelligent, but the wisdom and the experience of a teacher or a human being should not be replaced by Chat GPT. You can take help of it.
when they are also giving multiple Bloom's level map to one course
Yeah,
outcome.
you can take help, as I said,
Yes.
but then the final decision, final call has to be yours.
Yes.
That which level we have to map it, which level we are expecting from. You write a syllabus and you ask Chat GPT, he will give a high level Bloom's level this course outcomes, and you are teaching a first year student. Or even, as I gave the example, the same subject of basic electronics of diploma and degree, and you give Chat GPT, he will not decide whether the student is coming from class 10th background or from class 12th background.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. You are from which college, sir?
Ma'am, Institute of Engineering and Technology, Lucknow, IET Lucknow.
IIT.
IET. Yes.
Yeah. Any other questions, please? Shaunak Das Gupta, NB asking for strategies for solving complex engineering incorporating system. NB asking system. Yes, sir. We can have one-to-one talk about this, Dr. Das Gupta. This is a big part which we can talk about later. What do you understand by complex engineering problem? Can anybody give me an answer? Yes, sir.
Right, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
In my opinion, this complex engineering problem, it must be involving multiple components, and it must be at least analyze level and evaluate level, and within this complex engineering problem, I think we should, as we reach higher level of problem, information given is lesser. Ambiguity is in question is there. Just like we have to design a machine for certain tasks, so we would not be given data of what material we should select, what capacity should be there. So complexity.
Actually,
As practical
to some extent you are right, sir. Actually, whenever we say complex, we always start thinking about the hardness level.
Yes.
Right, like sir is also saying that practical cases or multidisciplinary, or you're saying the higher level of evaluation or grade. Basically, if you see just the meaning of complex engineering problem, any problem which may not have a unique solution,
Yes. That
may
is.
have multi solutions, may not means ये नहीं कि answer 10 आ जाएंगे. Way of doing the thing. So any project, if I give you in the class, maybe 5 students may reach the solution through 5 different ways, 5 different methods, but they give out the solution, whether it is analysis or evaluation whatsoever. So that is actually termed as the complex problem. So it will involve the understanding, application, evaluation. That's in that sense it is okay, but it does not means कि अगर कोई चीज बहुत मुश्किल है या जो सॉल्व नहीं हो रही है वो कॉम्प्लेक्स है. वो चीज जिसको आप सॉल्व कई अलग अलग तरीकों से कर सकते हैं और हर एक का सोल्यूशन अपने तरीके से सही होगा.
यस मैम,
So
वो
that
काइंड
is-
ऑफ मैम ओपन एंडेड जिसे हम लोग बोलते हैं,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
ओपन